Alrighty then. That signal that I just got on my computer means we are now live. And happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of our online open mic, something that I like to call the stay at home open mic. And we do this every single Monday. My name is Richie, your MC. You can find me online as Deadwall Reveries on Instagram, but you can just look me up and find me through the Barbed Wire Open Mic series. Yo, so if this is your first time here, welcome. This is an online mic, and if you've never experienced anything like this, then it's like any other open mic, but it is virtual, it is online, and most of us are just tuning in from the comfort of our own homes, which is kind of a nice deal, to be honest. And it's a nice way to reclaim Mondays. You know, Mondays have always gotten the bad rap since we started work and working, right? And Garfield became a thing. So, we're reclaiming Mondays, making something to look forward to. We have been doing this every single Monday since April of 2020. So, if you like this kind of concept, like this kind of show, you can actually go back on our YouTube channel and catch past episodes for that long, for so many years now. And it's been great to be able to do this consistently. And that is not without the help of a community of people making it every Monday to share work, whether it be new work that they maybe new shit, new stuff that they've put together. Maybe they found old notebooks and wanted to share some of that stuff, or of course wanted to cover the work of someone that they admire, that they respect, maybe or even someone in the community, which can also be those things. The cover poem. So, if you want to sign, just like any other open mic, if you want to perform, all you have to do is sign up. We do have a link in the description. Not yet at the beginning of the show, but as the show goes on, I will eventually add it. So be on the lookout for that if you are interested in performing. Other than that, though, we have a pretty good list today, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone. We have many regulars. We have a couple people making a return, and we have at least one debut. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, I'll be your MC, so I'll be introducing everyone. And of course, I do encourage everyone to, support all the performers. So if you are watching live and you're not participating, we don't know you're there. How can we know? So one thing that helps us, if you participate in the live chat, we do have a live chat running during the show while we are live, and it's always fun to interact. I will give shout outs. If you have questions, I can forward those as well, and I'll try my best to share links that people are sharing here in the Zoom call over the YouTube. That way, so you guys can also reap the benefits of those links. This is a platform, and even though we've been doing this for so long, and so many of you guys have been doing this week in and week out, sometimes I know it gets repetitive, but we always have to imagine that first person, first time tuning in, how can we share us with them? So after you read your work, I definitely encourage you guys to share links to your websites, social media, ways you can buy your books or support any other projects you have going on, including any other online mics, online workshops. That's definitely one of the goals of an event like this. This is the part of the show where I talk the most, and it's the most annoying part for me. But we're gonna go ahead and I think move on. I try and cover everything. Each performer gets about 5 to 7 minutes to do their thing. We're a little bit more relaxed with time, though. Okay, just don't do a 20-minute masterpiece. Okay, that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. But yeah, definitely, I encourage everyone keep an open mind, listen to the work, and then if you really do like, support the work. If there's a line that really resonates with you, that makes you feel something, or maybe you learn something new, even shocks you, we like to repost it. So that's good. We're gonna go ahead and then continue and start off the show, as we often do. It's been a little cloudy lately, and when it's a little cloudy or foggy, sometimes I just look for a light source, a lighthouse maybe. And as I always like to say, our own lighthouse, because it's just there's a comfort when he's here. And then he starts off the show so many times. Let's go ahead and welcome back to the show. We're gonna go to Denver and visit Mike Sindler. Hey man, welcome back.
Hey, well, we like it when you feel comfortable. That's a good thing. And yes, speaking of lighthouses, I am going to point out lighthousewriters.org, which is a just wonderful organization and has workshops and classes and events and all kinds of things. If you just go to that, you can look at all the wonderful things that are going on, and there's probably something for you no matter what kind of writing you're doing or what level you're doing it at or what kind of project you're doing. There's a lot of stuff sort of all verging together today, and I want to try and get something in for each of them. First, like I've been trying to do every week this month, do a piece for Women's History Month. And this one's actually a recipe called crone stew, which combine ingredients into a melange and let bake until perfect. Take sweetness of youthful, unblemished innocence, let marinate in praise, place an airtight container in fridge until puberty, transfer to bowl. Add sour taste of adolescent competition and body dysmorphia, sprinkle in advertising images of impossible Photoshop goals. Toss in bitterness over missed opportunities lost to less qualified, condescending males making more money doing less work. Splash in spicy hot rage over patriarchal inequality, negotiating for basic services, including healthcare. Season with salty tears of self-recrimination fermented from years of gaslighting. Finish with savory satisfaction, looking back at what you have overcome to be awesome. Enjoy while others eat crow. And the next one that I want to celebrate is we have gotten through the winter. We're coming into spring, which, of course, different faiths around the world are, celebrating this. For the Muslim world, it's Nowruz, and there are various different other things. But in general, I think everyone is celebrating the birth of spring in their own way. And this poem is called Equinox. The first light ray of equinox thrusts itself over the rounded dome of floating globe, slowly creeping across corrugated surface. Plum shadows lengthen and narrow as thick amber oozes from the east. Perfect harmony of time and season's thrall. All nature wakes becalmed, breathing deep, final guarded gasp of cruel winter. Lips expel last chill song. Mourns warmth, caresses creation. Next inhalation swallows new year whole. Holy communion of buds, grains, and grasses. Vibrating growth, spurt, catalyst ignites, gelled essence of sap. Sun sings flame to ring and flow. Kindled waft ripens into spring. And lastly, tomorrow is International Poetry Day. National Poetry Day isn't until October, but National Poetry Month, on the other hand, starts next month. But these are different stories. Tomorrow is International Poetry Day. And so I want to do an old sonnet that I wrote called Poem Boxing. Completely willing to risk a defeat, consenting to play by rules of the game, jumping in the ring with iambic beat, not seeking glory and immune to shame. 14 savage lunges towards the page, 10 quick paces forward in each attack. No foe or enemy there to engage, only a mirror image staring back. Ink in place of blood flows onto paper in 3 full rounds and then one that's shorter. True poet or presumptuous faker? It's hard to tell before the Volta. Success or failure, it's your call to make. The poet's task is only to create. And so at this point, as usual, I will put on the hat and I do want to do some things for spring, and the first one also is by one of the great American women poets, Amy Lowell, and it's called Vernal Equinox. The scent of hyacinths, like a pale mist, lies between me and my book, and the south wind washing through the room makes the candles quiver. My nerves sting at a splatter of rain on the shutter, and I am uneasy with the thrusting of green shoots outside in the night. Why are you not here to overpower me with your tense and urgent love? And I want to do one last one. Another great American poet was by far the most famous of his time, William Wordsworth, and it's called Lines Written in Early Spring. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sat reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you also, Mike, for starting us off. Promoting Lighthouse. Do you have any readings or anything that you'd like to promote before we move on?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be doing a thing on Thursday for Finn, poetry games. So I'll put it in the chat.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And I will make sure to forward that. Yes, Finn Bell, go check out her events and you'll definitely hear a lot about them throughout the night. I love the poetry games. It just, something seems so like intense about it. The Hunger Games, the poetry games, but they're definitely a lot more fun than that. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and continue on with our show. And today, our Zoom takes us from Denver to Pittsburgh, just like that. And we're going to tune in with Vale Larkin, who has been doing a serialized piece over past shows. So looking forward to the continuation of that. Hey, Vale, how are you doing today? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to continue, hopefully conclude this story today. Brief catch up. The fairy, who used to be an ever-changing fairy, took the form of a middle-aged woman for a long time and traveled around doing magic tricks that were decreasingly really magic and just entertaining humans as she found them, and watching the world lose faith in magic and outlaw it and outlaw anything associated with it. And she comes back to the witch, who she finds working a bake shop in a village. I was hoping to intrude upon your retirement and request that you remove the spell you froze me with so many years ago, said the witch. I have decided that I should not have abandoned my old life so quickly, allowing something so silly as the rise of another civilization to dissuade me from my work. The witch looked sidelong at her, and for a moment the fairy could see the ancient wisdom of her sisterhood in her eyes. She smiled again, but sadly. I know what it is you hope to do, last of the Fae, and maybe it is that you will succeed, but I think it more likely that you will wither away like the rest of your kind, or perhaps finally find your own crossing into their lands. Stay among the humans. They are not perfect, but their company will at least hold back the loneliness that overcame you before. The fairy would not be dissuaded. After a perfunctory argument, the witch agreed to help, and the fairy could see that she was actually quite pleased to be called upon to blend up a brew more mysterious than raspberry sauce. The two women were careful not to be seen together too much in the days it took for the witch to make her preparations. The fairy began her old performances in the town square closest to the shop, with nothing so grand as to attract much attention. To those who asked, she said that she was renting a room over the pastry shop for a little time before journeying on. The witch worked quickly, though, and it was a scant week only until she had all of her tools ready. She and the fairy took some risk venturing out beyond the city walls that night, but they explained that they were going to pick fruit and berries in the forest and wanted to get an early start in the morning before the gates would open. The combination of the witch's beauty and the fairy's steady, matronly grace led the guards to view them with less suspicion than they might have otherwise have had, and they were waved through. Once out in the woods, they found a likely-looking ash tree and took turns stepping around it into the glade in the fairy's old lands. For ash trees are all connected, as everyone understands, and if you know the trick of it, you can use them to travel between forests. The fairy herself had always maintained a venerable ash in her glade for just such purposes. Being a fairy's glade, it had remained quite pristine for all of these years, and the fairy was pleased to see that it was now set only a few hundred feet from a well-traveled path through the forest. Still, well-traveled is relative, and there was certainly no one about now. The magic that still clung to the place lent spring to the witch's step, and in a matter of hours she had made her arrangements. The fairy had been watching her, and when she saw the circle was nearly cast, she approached and started to step inside, as she had on that long-ago day at the witch's old cottage. This time, the witch laid a hand on her arm before she could proceed. "You do not have to go on as you have," she said. "We can keep each other company, entertaining and feeding all those hungry minds and mouths. You do not have to do this." But the fairy was resolved. With a resigned nod from the witch, she placed one foot, then the other, over the borders of the sacred space. When she was centered in it, the witch raised her hands, a bundle of herbs in one and a piece of goblin glass in the other. A rare thing even in olden times, and the fairy wondered for a moment how she had preserved it all these years. Then the spell swept her up, and this time there was no flash of light, but a surging, boiling upswelling of energy from within her frozen breast, as though every deferred transformation of the past 1,000 years was trying to burst forth at once. For a moment, the fairy thought she might be torn apart by their force, but then her body began to thaw and remember its old gifts of motion and change, and soon she was once again herself, a constantly shifting polymorphic being, more abstract riddle than solid creature. One day, not too much later in the year, a caravan of tinkers' wagons came trundling on the path near the fairy's glade. They stopped for the night and spread out into various clearings around the road. A family came to the glade and had soon made themselves comfortable on the soft moss and grasses covering the ground. They built a fire and roasted vegetables and roots in its coal, for they were poor and hunting in the king's forest was forbidden, though the king himself rarely ventured too far in himself, for no reason he could ever quite put his finger on. When they had bedded down around the banked embers for the night, they quickly drifted to sleep, for the journey had been long, and their wise women saw no signs of rest coming in their future. The smallest child was just finally letting her eyes slide shut when she glimpsed a strange light coming from around the back of an elm tree at the edge of the glade. Curious, she climbed out of her blankets and tiptoed around to the other side of the tree line. The child's laughter was what finally woke her parents and siblings. But as soon as they followed its sound out of the glade and a little way into the forest, all 5 of them stopped dead still. There, between 2 great lightning-struck oaks, was their youngest, and standing not 3 feet from her was a living, breathing insanity. The fact that their daughter was giggling and waving delightedly at this creature, and that the creature itself had done nothing more threatening than to turn partway into a marmoset and then change its mind, failed to register with her parents. Thinking only of the safety of their child, they snatched up the little girl and raced back to the glade, where they gathered all their things, repacked their wagon, and sent the older children to warn the other families to do the same. Soon the entire caravan was back on the road under the moonlight, urging weary horses up to speed and escaping as quickly as they could from the strangeness in that glade. Soon the rumors began. Tinkers are great travelers, and while no one claimed to believe their superstitious tales of monsters in the woods, still, the stories spread. Soon, a few members of polite society were reporting similar experiences along that stretch of the path, sightings of demons and monsters in every shape and size. Soon, tellers of tales began to pass along this one, first round campfires, then in inns, finally in the halls of the great, if greatness can be measured in how many lumps of metal one has in one's possession. Some few began to seek the glade out in secret, for there will always be those who are drawn to mystery, even when it terrifies them. Songs were written and poems were composed by some of those pilgrims, and from these came dramatic reenactments and seditiously surreal paintings and children's games, and so the magic spread, and slowly the encroaching night began its retreat. In the coming years, the fairy watched as the humans regained their imaginations. Slowly but surely, they reclaimed the beautiful arts of their ancestors and began to create new ways in which to express the wells of creativity that so many of them had begun to find within themselves. For you see, even the smallest magic spreads, and the fairy herself was no small power. Eventually, the humans began to rediscover magic themselves, beginning with great smoky fires and too much sacrifice, as such efforts always begin, but eventually growing and learning. Hearts caught fire and opened wide, and began to allow all sorts of dreams to come true. The women, children, elderly, and infirm began slowly to regain their voices, and all these humans together began to see the potential for magic in every particle of the universe, curing ills that had plagued their kind for as long as the fairy had known them, building mystical paths of pure thought, joining their entire world together. If the fairy remained in her glade, or faded away as the witch foretold, or managed to remove the curse and become once more a jester instead of a fright, we may never know. For all things change in time, and happily ever afters are also all relative. She was immortal, though, so one or two cannot be ruled out in this case.
All right. See a lot of us in our little boxes clapping and cheering away. Thanks for
Yes.
that, Bill.
Yay.
Was it, I think, 4 parts? Did it end up being in 4 parts? 4, because I remember one week you skipped it, but I think it took about 4 or 5 weeks to finish. So, awesome, cool, and I know you have your links. Do you want to mention those really quick that you shared on here? Or?
Yeah, please, if you would like to donate to me, please donate to the Square Dot link that's there for Words of the Prophets. The production premieres April 21st. It's all 4 performances will be live streamed. So even if you're not in New York City where it's going on, you can still see it. I will be posting links to buy tickets in the coming weeks, but until then, we would welcome any and all contributions. We are currently paying for a couple of unexpected expenses having to do with our disabled cast members and access for them. So we're trying to make up a little bit of a difference there. So that would be cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and replace the spotlight there. Cool. Vale Larkin, everyone, Pittsburgh. I'm going to share those links over on YouTube in just a moment, but they do have their play coming out, Words of the Prophets, and you can donate to that is what's going on as well. And I loved that idea that even the smallest magic spread, that's something I like to do. Something that we do here by sharing our work. I think of even Mike's words of like, when us poets creating, and this idea of like abracadabra, that the root of it, or is kind of the concept of it, I speak, I create. So may we continue to create and spread small magic in these rooms. Sorry, I'm trying to tie the first two performers together in a thread, and we're going to continue to follow that thread back to El Paso, Texas, where we're going to bring up our next reader. Robin Schofield is going to share some poetry from El Paso, and of course, as we always like to commend the poet laureate of Tumble Words. What's up, Robin? Happy Monday.
Hey, Richie. Hey, everybody. Hello. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. I'm going to read a couple of poems because one is short, but one is long. So, and then a cover poem. And this one is newly typed out of a fairly new notebook, only a year old or so. So it's new shit. And it's called Elegy for a Book Lost in a Fire. I changed my life, one must, as I perused the book about the forms of nature, conforming to the spiral of the Fibonacci series, snail shell, turtle, fish skeleton, dragonfly wingspan. The golden rectangle on the cover, the author, a Hungarian architect whose name I've lost. An oversized paperback of all the beauty and harmony in plenty of black and white illustrations of the structure of these numbers, a doorway's dimensions in the mind's eye and entrance. I wasn't equal to figuring out the equations, so I took his word and art for bond. I know beauty when I remember it. The secret code of the whirling cosmos, a sunflower. Seeds explode in its core according to this pattern, same as the spiral galaxy, ablaze with a billion stars burning into extinction. So that was a real book and a real loss. And then I'm going to read this poem about springtime from my memories in my childhood. It's called Words of a Season. Them skunks be harmonating, Hoxie used to say when we smelled skunks all over the farm to market roads, trucks struck dead spring after spring. Hoxie used to say some mornings, cold as blue blazes, the mist out of his mouth, a smell I know now for morning breath of a drunk, pleasant and sharp, bracing, but not sickening like the bluish cigar smoke in Granddad Chevy, morning clouds of it on the way to Thackerville, Oklahoma, springtime across the Red River, with Aunt Rita's untamed dogs and cats she rescued from the road where folks dump unwanted procreation. Her sorrow to have no children, her and Uncle John S. living by the peach orchard. Hoxie and his fat wife lived by the spring, sharecropping my grandfather's farm. Hoxie's wife didn't bathe or use perfume. First I'd smelled human fumes unadorned. Biscuits rose out of a lard and flour dough ball, kneaded in one wooden bowl, one wooden room where Hoxie, thin as Jack Sprat, drank and fixed a pipe. Through the base hillocks, high-headed grass, the clear spring ran out of year-round. I tasted the cold, sweet minerals of Love County, Oklahoma. The rusty dirt I trailed my bare feet in to pick blackberries that stained my hands, strawberries from their green nests right off the ground, while cows stood stolid, chewed, and mildly looked. To fly kites the color of candy where barn swallows daubed mud on walls, to shoot the shoulder-bruising rifles, to find lizard skeletons and locust shells in the highway tunnels that divided the farm, the land once ours, orchard and pasture. If we heard rustles in the tall grass, it was like to be a snake, maybe a copperhead or rattler by the road. We'd run one over, and my grandfather would stop the truck and grab the hoe to chop its head off, because eternal snakes won't die from being run over, but bunch their muscles up and supple spines slide sideways away. Uncle John S. knew the way to the Indian graveyard and how to take the sting out of nettles. My grandfather's roses floated in crystal bowls while we ate fried apricot pies my grandmother fixed, and the generous strawberries, seeds outside, hollow inside, fuzzy as whitewater creeks in the cream turned pink, sugar red on gold fiesta-ware plates in cobalt bowls. Old toothless Hoxie laughed like a firecracker. How glad I was we did not have to kiss him. Our bewhiskered great-grandmother at the farm, we had to kiss every time we saw her. After she died, the tattered draperies still drifted like paper muslin in the skeleton of her empty house. Her last words to him, my father said, were, "How are your children?" But the words that haunt me like a spring chill came from Hoxie's beaten mouth at dawn, from weathered bones in the woods, the hail of blue blazes, the season's harms and harmonies, musk and rot. Sweet and foul on the red dirt road to the Love County Spring. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to be doing Tumble Words, a generative workshop on April the 8th. So that's all I got.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Robin. And yeah, looking forward to all the upcoming Tumble Words workshops. As Mike mentioned at the beginning of the show, April's Poetry Month. So come through if you want to write some poetry. Robin's going to be part of that. I'll be part of that as well. But we'll let Kit do some more promo for Tumble Words throughout the night. And if you have any links as well, feel free to share them. All right, we're going to go ahead and go from El Paso to the West Coast. We're going to drop in Los Angeles. Our next performer, Oksana N. Mauricio, was born in Angola, Africa. She is an author, spoken word poet, and singer. And more importantly, it's just great to have her back on the show. Let's go ahead and welcome our next performer, Nuria Butterfly. What's up? Hey. How's it going?
Hi, everybody. I'm actually sleepy. I gotta be honest, because I've been going to bed. I've been waking up early. So great to be here, everyone. I'm so glad to have you guys. And yeah, so today I have a little bit. I'm gonna start with this poem that I wrote today. I was inspired by another poet and a therapist, and she had this line that I want to share with you guys about a blind poet, and inspired me to write about it. So I wrote it today, and the line was, the birds and the sound that sound similar but not the same. So here's the poem. What is a sound? Twinkling starling lights to dim darkness. He could see beyond sight and hear the whispers between the singular lines. Beyond sight and hear the whispers between the singular lines, melodies of which birds made. Could you hear it? In nature, and listen attentively with glue-shut eye. Sensories as language translated and turned into echoes, travailing in the mystery of distant musical allies. Perception, penetrable, through impregnated and idyllic ordinary days, the dance of chirping hummingbirds chanting their vocals as elongated as their short beaks. Standing, linear, and unknowingly circulating the universe. Like non-dotted creatures, those incredulous humans, forsaken, hurried to work and leaving them invisible, glowing at the crack of dawn, freezing moist of dew, of dried, uncracked branches, comforted by a tree, providing the home and space for them to be held by their fragile, impeccable talons, there, embracing their tribe by a window. They heard you, little ones, but simply chose to ignore your existence. It's not that you are insignificant for lack of sight, but almost obliterated with sensors beyond human intellect. So that's my first piece, and then let me see. I have one more poem, and then something else, and then I'll be out of here. Yeah, let me see. Okay. I haven't done this poem in a while, so I just really wanted to. You're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheek so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you and the way you love. With each one, your tenderness grows, tearing my heart apart. And I love that wrinkles my nose and touches my foolish heart. Yes, you lovely, never ever change. Keep the breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Feeling your skin, dewy, moist, feathers, clothing, every crack, sweet aroma, lavender, white flower, burning candle, flames of fireplace, wine, black cherries, toasted almonds, crisp lips, marinating brown sugar, honey scrub, caramel arms suited, elated to be alive. Chestnut feet, elongated, enchanted by hot bath, spearmint, liquid Epsom salt, algae clay mask, dismantling residues in a weary, sleepless face, cocoa butter, discovering its way external wet chocolate skin, bare and prepared by soaking bath water like fermented wine. Almost there, dissected from grapes, this aura, proceeding toes, fingers relaxed, hands awakened, legs serenaded by. 'Cause I love you, 'cause I love you, just the way you love, just the way you love tonight. I have one more thing and then I'm out of here. Okay, this is another song. I'm gonna do this one. Okay, read. The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a king. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you. The mere idea of you, the longing here for you. You never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. your eyes and stars above is just the thought of you, the very thought of you. My love. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, no, thank you, thank you. That was amazing. What a showcase of your voice, those pieces. I'm loving it. Everyone else is. As you can see by our windows, we're clapping like crazy, showing some love. How can people follow and support you online if they wish to do so?
Yeah, I'll post my socials in the chat. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you. And I do appreciate you also staying up. I understand that this is the late show and it gets kind of late, right? So I do appreciate you guys who are staying up, pushing up a little bit to stay up with us. Alrighty, that was amazing. Wow, the singing. I mean, and your words too, of course. But wow, exactly. We need encore. No, but hopefully, whenever you're free Mondays, we're here and we can get you on earlier. Just let us know, okay? Got the preference. All right, let's go ahead and continue. We're gonna go to South Euclid, Ohio. Our next performer also promised to sing a little bit. Okay, no, he didn't. I'm just putting him on the spot. I love to do that though. We got Doc Janning in the house. Doc, hey man, how you doing? Happy Monday.
Oh, well, I'm doing. Tomorrow evening at 10:21 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, actually, in that year, it was 10:21 Eastern War Time, which would translate to 9:21 p.m. this year. I will have completed 80 circuits of the sun. My first piece tonight is, hold on a second, let me get it up here, and then I've got it. Oh heck, I'm gonna have to just do it the way I'm going to do it. How can I do it? It's a poem titled Mazarin Waltz, and I want to share screen because, oh heck, you disabled the share screen?
It's there. It's there. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. This is a picture. Hold on a second. All right. Why is this not showing up? Oh, share. No? Is it? I don't know what's going on here, why it's not sharing.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. I wrote a poem titled Mazarin Waltz, and Finn Bell, the lovely lady she is, said she was going to create a picture for it, and she did. And this is that picture. And the poem is Mazarin Waltz. The Mazarin Waltz, a waltz of midnight blue, a blue tinged with fire, the fire of passion and love flowing from the well of time. A waltz of dreams dreaming us as being we become. A waltz of conversion and ascension of souls. A waltz of the multiverse and the forever beyond forever. And now I'm going to stop sharing and go on to my Next poem. Where the heck did it go? Oh, there. Metaphor. In the embrace of infinity, the labyrinth of consciousness and strangeness of adjoining worlds, poetry has become my shield on the horizon between night and morning. The caress of time and space explores untold memories, lost in canyons of mind, cryptic caves of ages, and hidden sacred abditories. Kafune winds of forever stir thoughts and swevens amid omniscient tides of eternity, and dances through eons of dreams, searching. The voice of distant longing calls from the other side of dawn, and all the infinite nows of yesterdays, todays, and tomorrows, and the endless matrix of existence. And I become metaphor, a metaphor of being, unexpressed in language, as I begin at the gates of the end in thoughts which never were. And I will finish with seasons to come, making our way from winter into spring on a bright, chill day. A cloud scuds across the sky, sun's momentary scrim, herald of storms to come. Aeolus's breath sighs, singing of seasons to come, and life pauses, inhaling the cold, remembering spring and summer to come, remembering flowers and the scented grass in the fields of yesterday, remembering leafy shade, the songs of birds and the laughter of children, remembering the sounds of love, of burgeoning growth, and of harvests yet to be, remembering the now which lies dormant, which awaits tomorrow, remembering the future, remembering the future, remembering the future. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Doc. How can people connect with you online and support your work?
Well, I have a Facebook page, of course. It's Doc Janning. And if you want to send me a couple of bucks, I won't refuse it. It's doc.janning@gmail.com on PayPal.
Alrighty then, appreciate that. Thanks for making it on. Glad to have you here again. Once, as we can see here in our little boxes, we got people clapping it up, and I gotta say, man, every time I try and remember the future, I remember it just the future ain't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty then. Glad to have you here. All right, let me open up our sign-up sheet because I'm monitoring our YouTube channel. Once again, welcome to our online open mic, the stay-at-home open mic. Hope you guys are comfy. Have a snack, your drink of choice, beverage of choice, and kick back, relax. We got plenty of more people left. I want to give a shout out to Samuel Wilson. Love you, man. Thanks for checking us out as always and being such a huge supporter. We're going to go ahead and continue, and we're going to come back to El Paso for our next performer. And I know that it's harder for them to make it on, and so when they do, it's a special treat. Even I got to see them live at the poetry night at Capri we had recently, and so I'm always looking forward to any performance. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage our MV Lee Martinez Soto. What is up, Lee? Hey.
Hey, glad I could join today. I have only one poem today, a huge trigger warning for transphobia and violence against trans people. This is called Will Someone Please Think of the Children? I will start this long list of all things that make my insides twist and turn, cause my sleep to fade away, and my will to live to go away, with a short warning for those of my LGBTQIA family. To take a break, look away, practice any amount of self-care we are allowed under the current wars waged against our existence. For all cisgender, heterosexual people, this is your time to demonstrate your true allyship. So listen well, pay attention, make the spaces taken by this monster safe again for us. As of February 6, 2023, 382 bills designed to cause harm to LGBTQIA siblings under the guise of protecting children's minds, morality, and good old American values have been proposed. Will someone please think of the children? Arkansas, Mississippi, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah pass and sign into law the government's militant white Christian nationalist rights to regulate bodies, restrict the ways in which we validate our own existence, take away life-saving medication and procedures, detransition, and make us prone once again to the grasp of death. 82%, the rate and prevalence of suicidal thoughts in transgender youth. 45%, those who have tried attempts against their own lives. But death does not stop there, with the likelihood of 4 times and over 4 times too many to be victims of sexual assault, aggravated assault, violence, and murder. Numbers accumulate. Every new bill adds another number to the tally. Find their names on the news, shoved down below the latest political frivolity, celebrity gossip, consumerist bullshit. Jasmine Star Mac, 36, the first violent killing of 2023. Shashay Henderson, 31, discovered only after a fire was set on her and her belongings. Brazil Johnson, 28, her killer still at large. Maria Jose Rivera, 22, apparent murder-suicide case. Sashi Imanitiwato, in the parking lot of her own workplace. Unique Banks, 21, victim of yet another mass shooting. Casey Johnson, 27, went missing on January 13, found dead on January 14. Tortuguita, 26, indigenous queer, non-binary environmental activist, killed by Georgia state troopers while protecting the Wilauni forest. Gay, 16, fatal stab wounds. Will someone please think of the children? As of March 13, 2023, 409 bills have been designed state by state, exact copies of one another or worse, attacking free speech and expression, schools and education, civil rights and healthcare. 8 passed, 333 advancing. Texas, 45 bills to make knowledge less and less accessible, the words to find ourselves far from our reach, ban books, jail t-shirts, limit the public spaces in which we can exist, be safe, find family and friends, out of sight, out of mind, better yet, if out of life. Prejudice, discrimination, harassment, violence, and social isolation, eradicate us, shove us back into the closet, trust no one just in case they hate you, just in case they want you dead. Will someone please think of the children? Inked by hatred, designed to harm, but please tell me again how you're only thinking of the children. And that's it.
Whoa. Tell you, I know that's like immensely personal to you, but that's something that's important for everybody to hear. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Lee. I'm glad you're performing this not just here, but in person too, at the shows. More people need to hear it. I'm glad that you make the call for people to listen up. And keep speaking it. You know, that's heartbreaking and infuriating. I know you have your underneath you, Cadaveres Literarios Instagram, and from there, I believe you have a link tree on the profile that people can follow. Is there anything else you want to promote or share? Right
no, not at the moment. I'll just put the information for my link tree and just keep on the lookout for on my social media. I've been posting some of the community efforts in order to kind of like help out our trans youth here in Texas, especially.
Good. Yes, we need that. Yes, thank you for that. Please, if you are listening, definitely, we need to support. I know I'm going to. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But hopefully that moves people to action. Not the first time it's come up too in the show. So anyway, we support you. And we'll keep an eye out for those links. Thank you, Lee. Also shout out to Andres as well on YouTube. I see you there. I'm glad you always get to tune in as well and support. Alrighty then. We are going to continue the show and we're gonna go from El Paso. This is gonna be an interesting part of the show because our next performer is a figment of our imagination. At least that's what she wrote here. She's gonna share poetry, maybe a story. We will see. Well, let's go ahead and welcome back on the show the amazing, the one and only Finn Bell. Hey. Hello, hello.
Hey there.
How are you?
Hello, how's it going?
All right. Oh, you got like some text there. Look at that.
I do, yeah. So I shared a while ago at another open mic prior to this one, a little bit of an old story of mine. And I guess I have a little bit more time to do it here. So I'm going to start the story and then end it on another week. I'm also going to time myself. This story is called, I lost it. Oh God. Commonplace Supernatural. So let me put a timer on because I don't want to go over long. Where'd my timer go? Okay. Commonplace Supernatural. Some spirits accept apologies. Others like to watch while you nap. If you live at least a portion of your childhood in the Philippines, especially way outside the confines of any major city, it becomes second nature to accept otherwise inexplicable phenomena as everyday occurrence. Thanks to Spanish influence bringing Catholicism with them when they occupied the country, a large majority of the population to this day still practices the faith. But much like any new religion, concept or lifestyle, it is introduced with a clever degree of sneakiness, woven in among already existing beliefs and ways of functioning. This is what Filipino Catholicism sort of looks like today, a generous helping of the local superstitions of the region mixed in with more standard rituals shared by Catholics worldwide. Not only is folklore and a form of animism present in religious rite, it also makes its way among steps of daily life, mingling with activities and tasks. Where here in the US, it isn't probably a far reach to equate the supernatural with what is frightening, or at worst, truly horrific. In the Philippines, though some otherworldly entities can be terrifying, they could also form a surprisingly pragmatic approach to hows and whys of nature and how we as humans are perceiving what we see and hear. Those stories about monsters, deities, and creatures can still serve as tools older relatives use to frighten younger, more impressionable children into submission. Don't play outside after sunset or the waka waka will get you. Or if you hear a baby crying in the field, walk away. Do not look for it because it's not a lost child, but a tiyanak. Many rituals are used preemptively to avoid pitfalls or to court good fortune into one's life. And some faith folk and departed spirits offer guidance, or at the very most cause only minor mischief if you know how to properly appease them. Our first encounter with a ghost in the Philippines was when we moved back to my dad's hometown in 1982. I was almost 10 years old, and we were staying at my aunt's bamboo nipa and capiz shell windowed home until we procured a more permanent abode of our own. One of the first few nights, we were all asleep side by side on the woven banig laid out on the floor for each one of us, draped by various sizes of colorful mosquito net. Because of the climate's change, my sister's allergies were acting up and her sinuses became congested, causing her to snuffle throughout the night. The following morning, she claimed that someone had come up to her and gently pinched her nostrils together. No one would admit to doing this. On another night, an older lady with long silver shot black hair would be sitting just outside of the nets, backlit by the moonlight, silently combing her hair. I really thought this was an odd time to be doing such a routine, but I didn't think very much of it and went back to sleep. My tiyahin, Auntie Luz, had long hair that she never cut and would have this elaborate ritual of cleansing, conditioning, and combing, and then plaiting her hair. This normally took the place in the daytime after her bath and would be fascinating hours-long ritual. We asked my auntie later why she was doing her hair routine in the middle of the night. She looked at us baffled. She swore she was not up in the middle of the night. Based on our description of the woman, She concluded that it was our paternal grandmother visiting us from behind the veil. Our Lola was never able to spend much time with us when she was alive, when we visited briefly when I was around 3 years old. So Auntie Lou surmised that she wanted to be able to see her grandchildren at least once. Several years later, in the early 2000s, after we had moved back to the US, we visited the Philippines again, this time with my son. The same old lady with long hair was hovering over my son, sleeping peacefully, simply watching him. We had a naturally flowing river near where we lived on the outskirts of town. It's called the Ilog Damiana. Residents would congregate here to wash laundry or go swimming or have a picnic. On a particular weekend, the first year we moved to the country, our entire extended clan decided to pack a lunch and spend the day by the river. We were having the usual fun, splashing around, playing water games, when suddenly I had the urge to go pee. I whined to my mom that I had nowhere to go, and she suggested going a good ways off downstream and urinating at the river's edge. My eldest aunt swooped in with additional quick instructions as well. I did not want to anger the river spirit, the tiny anito called Nuno sa Punso, who dwelled among the various little anthills that dotted the perimeter of the water. I was to say this short line before I did my business, a sort of polite request for permission. Tabi po, Nuno. I secretly scoffed, thinking that was the most ridiculous thing to do. I just went ahead and let loose on the poor anthill. Nightfall hadn't even approached that day when we got home, and I was suddenly racked by violent chills and shaking and a very high fever. It was weird, but when my aunt summoned the village herbalist to our house that evening, the first thing the healer asked my mom was whether I had permission of the Nuno when I intruded upon his little abode. And that's where I'll stop. I'll continue next to this week.
All right, thank you so much for that. I can't wait for the second part of that. How can people support and follow you online, and more importantly, like events you have going on this week?
They should all be on my Linktree /Vinbell once I update it. I haven't updated it since last month. I've been bad, but thank you. Yeah. And Michael Sindler is on Thursday. He leads Poetry Games, and tomorrow Fincabulary starts a brand new program called Creative Space with Jen Newsey, and she's doing Poets Pictionary tomorrow. So that's all should be on my Linktree.
Poets Pictionary, that sounds cool. Well, thank you. I'll make sure to share that link as well. As always, thanks for spending time with us. I love hearing about these stories. I've always been fascinated too with like Philippines and the culture and the space. So I want to see where that goes. Alrighty then. We're gonna go ahead and come back to El Paso for our next performer. Someone's been coming out. Sometimes he just hangs out. Sometimes he will read. He says today he's gonna read someone else's work. Let's go ahead and welcome Alan, the main. What's up, man?
Same old, just chilling, just having a good time. And yourself?
I'm
Good.
great, thank you.
Cool. For tonight, I didn't really write anything that I would like to share. I thought I had something that I might have read previously. So I'm not gonna read that one, but I'm gonna read somebody else's work. I went to Barnes and Noble because I guess I wanted to pick up a Dr. Seuss book for my sister, because it was just like, she's like, hey, she said she was getting into Dr. Seuss, or she wanted to get like a collection of Dr. Seuss books. And she told me that maybe about a year and a half ago or something like that. And I don't think the collection's grown. And it was just like one of those things, like, it was just like, it's like one of those list things where like, if I don't do it, it's like, it'll never get done type of thing. You know what I mean? Where I just want to like continue that saga. So I went to Barnes and Noble, and I picked up Dr. Seuss's ABC actually. And then as I was leaving, I was looking at like the magazine stands, the magazine portion of Barnes and Noble, and I saw this one, and it was called Salamander. So originally I just went and bought Dr. Seuss's ABC, and then I saw this salamander there, and what it was is like, it's like a woman in a sheet, like a woman in a sheet on a cloud. And so when I was like looking through it, I think the thing that made me want to buy it was the fact that I thought it was a book of poetry, but then at certain points she ends up switching to like a short story. In between. So it's like poetry right here. I haven't read it yet, so I wanted to share some of it with you guys. but it's like it was poetry, and then she has like a short story over here, and then she jumps back to poetry. So, and then she has like pictures in here as well. So I thought that was kind of cool how it's not just a poetry book, but it's also like, it's like the style, like the way she made the book. And I was like, wow, that's like, I would have never thought of like that you could do it like that. So I bought it just for that. So I'm gonna read Dr. Seuss's ABC. I know it's corny, but like I'm gonna read that for you all, and then we'll break into Salamander as well. So we'll see what that one has. But this one's Dr. Seuss's ABC. All right, first page. Let me know if you guys can't see. It's 26 letters, I'm assuming, so just bear with me, Dorothy. So big A, little a, what begins with A? Aunt Annie's alligator, A. Big B, little b, what begins with B? My sister's name is Bianca, incidentally. Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. Big C, little c, what begins with C? Camel on the ceiling, CCC. Big D, little d, David Donald Do dreamed a dozen donuts and a duck dog too. A, B, C, D, E, ear, egg, elephant, E. Big F, little f, F. 4 fluffy feathers on a feather. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Goat, girl, goo goo, goggles, G, good, G. Big H, little h. Hungry horse, hey. Hand in a hat, hooray, hooray. Big I, little I. I. Ichabod is itchy, so am I. Big J, little j. What begins with J? Jerry Jordan's jelly jar and jam begin that way. Big K, little k. Kitten, kangaroo. Pick a kettle, kite, and a king's kerchoo. Big L, little L. Little Lola Lop, left leg, lazy lion licks a lollipop. Big M, little m. Many mumbling mice are making midnight music in the moonlight. Mighty nice. Big N, little n. What begins with those? 9 new neckties and a nightshirt and a nose. O is very useful. You use it when you say, Oscar's only ostrich oiled in orange out today. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Painting pink pajamas, policeman in a pail, Peter Pepper's puppy, and now Papa's in the pail. Big Q, little q. What begins with Q? The quick queen of Quincy and her quacking quackaroo. Big R, little r. Rosie, Robin, Ross. Rosie's going riding on her red rhinoceros. Big S, little s. Silly Sammy Slick sipped 6 sodas and got sick. T. What begins with T? 10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree. Big U, little u. What begins with U? Uncle Ub's umbrella and his underwear too. Big V, little b. Vera Violet Van is very, very, very awful on her violin. W. Willie Waterloo washes Warren Wiggins, who is washing Waldo Root. X is very useful if your name is Nixie Knox. It also comes in handy spelling axe and extra thoughts. Big Y, little y. A yawning yellow yak, young Yolanda Jorgensen is yelling on his back. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Big Z, little z. What begins with Z? I do. I am zizzer, zazzer, zus, as you can plainly see. And that's it. That's all for Dr. Seuss's ABC. And then this one is going to be Salamander. I haven't selected anything. I'm just gonna jump in and see what it has. So this one is called I don't know how to say it actually. It's called Zoquiquetzal Candelaria. And the name of the poem, or the name of it is Summer's End. I don't want to have started it. Okay, well, the first one, I guess, would be, the first poem would be, sometimes housework tidings me to the material reality of this world, inheritance, desire, temptation, expulsion, as if death could be washed off of us. They told me a dragon was a phoenix that never rose from its ashes. Furthermore, there's no real telling what propelled us here. And at the same time, I was saying lily pads float without roots, shelter in place, get angry that there is no field, regard the other as a verb, bite, inhibition, bloodhounds, once we are severed, telling the right story when the museum is a mirror. That was the first one, and this is the second one. I'm not going to go too much longer. I don't want to pick up the time. But this one is Xochiquetzal Candelaria, Summer's End. She came to me 3 times last night, patted across carpet and hardwood, and in a voice so clear she sounded like fresh river water said, "Mama, I'm lonely." Then, "Mama, what animal would you be if you weren't human?" I don't answer, but instead, each time, walk her back the way all the books say. But today, in my head, I reply, when I find it hard to climb, I want to be a cat. And when I'm impatient, a bird. And when I'm lonely, so lonely, talking feels like drowning. I want to be not Eurydice's fox or snake, but the darkness she moved in, the great living darkness. Yeah, and then I'm probably just going to read this last one for tonight, and then that'll be it. So this one is called, it's Despi Beautries. It says Despi Beautries, but then the name of the poem is Desire. So I'm assuming that it's like multiple poets. I guess it's multiple people contributed to the book, and then yeah, I guess it's multiple people contributing to the book. So that's pretty cool. So this one is Despi Beautries, and the name of the poem is Desire. Desire begins with the sight of someone else's eyes, voice pulled taut by a ribbon of smoke, apples of cheeks reddened like seawater in the evening light. A volcanic eruption, one body surging toward another, determined to scorch skin safe from the cloudburst outside. Your lips are suction cups, and I a window, a whole suburb spread with sheets drying on clotheslines. Want the width of your spread eagle thighs, no wider. Outside, a train cries out for our attention, not knowing we've been wired to this bed for hours. Volcanic in our burst of pleasure, which is to say, louder than the train, though we imitate its sound against the tracks, that familiar fast pace. And then that's it. That's all I'm gonna have. That's all I'm gonna read for tonight. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you guys.
All right, cool. Thank you, man. Yeah, interesting set, man. They're gonna bust out with some alphabetic aerobics, Blackish style. But yeah, Salamander is actually a literary journal based out of Suffolk. So it's multiple contributors. It's their fall, spring 20. Hold on, yeah. Kit actually linked it earlier, but it's just as a heads up for those listening. Yeah, it's a literary organization and a journal, but their most recent copy. That's what you have, and that's interesting. I hardly ever see lit journals on there at Barnes. But cool, man. Thanks for reading. Look forward to hearing more. All right, cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue, guys. We're gonna go ahead and welcome. So Alan's in El Paso. Our next guest is in San Diego, but in a few weeks to end out March is going to be in El Paso. He's going to be traveling and performing at several venues, so be on the lookout for that. Right now, let's go ahead and welcome Propaganda Poet to the stage. What's up, man? Looking forward to having you in town pretty soon.
That's actually, next week. That's next week, not a couple weeks. That's next week. Yeah. So a week from tomorrow, I'll be starting 2-3 days in a row there in El Paso. And thank you, Richie. I can't thank you enough for having me out there and setting up shows. And I really appreciate that. It's spring break, so I'm trying to get through all these papers before I hit the road. So that's why I had my camera off and stuff. But I'm listening, and I thank you all. I'm actually going to do 3 short cover poems tonight, all by women poets who have inspired me throughout my life, because we should celebrate women every day and every month. just saying. Anyway, so this first one is by Christos, who is, I think she's Chickasaw, but I'm not positive. I'll have to look that up. I have not signed a treaty with the United States government, especially for Celeste George. Nor has my father, nor has his father, nor any grandmothers. We don't recognize these names on old sorry paper. Therefore, we declare the United States a crazy person, nightmare, lousy food, ugly clothes, bad meat, nobody we know. No one wants to go there. This U.S. is a theory, illusion, terrible ceremony. The United States can't dance, can't cook, has no children, no elders, no relatives. They build funny houses no one lives in, but papers. Everything the United States does to everybody is bad. No, this U.S. is not a good idea. We declare you terminated. You've had your fun. Now go home. We're tired. We signed no treaty. What are you still doing here? Go somewhere else and build a McDonald's. We're going to tear all this ugly mess down. We revoke your immigration papers, your assimilation soap suds. Your stories are no good. Your colors hurt our feet. Our eyes are sore. Our bellies are tied in sour knots. Go away now. We don't know you from anybody. We must be some ghost in the wrong place, wrong time. Pack up your toys, garbage, lies. We who are alive now have signed no treaties. Burn down your stuck houses. You're sitting in a nowhere gray glow. Your spell is dead. Go far away. We won't remember you ever came here. Take those words back with you. And this next one is by Wanda Coleman, who was an amazing Los Angeles poet. Rest her soul. She was a great woman. She invited me into her home and welcomed me to LA when I moved there. Amazing. So this is called Criminal Behavior. I am guilty of not earning enough money to raise my children in the style they're accustomed to seeing on television and in the movies. Yes, yes. Guilty of failing to convince my various employers I am worthy of a salary commensurate with my capabilities. Guilty of ignoring my bigoted neighbors who spy on me as I come and go. Guilty of never saying hello, good morning, fuck off. Guilty of refusing to swallow abuse leveled at me by hostile store clerks who assume I must be stealing since I fit the ethnic profile of those born thieving. Guilty of having so many lovers before meeting my last love, of needing an excessive amount of love, of loving to be loved, of being a lover of love, and once in love, working hard, loving it. Yes, yes. Guilty of longing, desperate want, hunger, ambition, needy, so in need to be someone to shine, to stand out, to achieve excellence, to be better. As accused, I have refused to feel contrite, rebuff the notion of wrongdoing, and willing to pay the price for my assertive stubbornness, stick to my tongue out in contempt, flick my finger, guilty of being self-righteous, indignant, bold, nasty, queenly, name-calling, and combative. And yes, the world does owe me. And then one last little one. This one is wrong book. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay. And then leave you on a nicer, better spot. I want to thank you all and know that whether we talk on the regular basis or not, you are all part of my daily life, and I thank you for that. There is no word for goodbye. This is by Mary Tall Mountain. There is no word for goodbye. Sequoia, I said, looking through the net of wrinkles into wise black pools of her eyes. What do you say in Athabascan when you leave each other? What is the word for goodbye? A shade of feeling rippled the wind-tanned skin. Ah, nothing, she said, watching the river flash. She looked at me close. We just say, tla. That means, see you. We never leave each other. When does your mouth say goodbye to your heart? She touched me light as a bluebell. You forget when you leave us. You're so small then. We don't use that word. We always think you're coming back. But if you don't, we'll see you someplace else. You understand? There is no word for goodbye. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. Thank you all for making this world a better place. And Lee, shout loud all the time. Yes.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Propaganda Poet, be on the lookout. More deets coming very soon. Coming to El Paso. That's right. Really soon. So be on the lookout for those events. We're going to go ahead and continue onward. We're going to come back to Texas, but not El Paso. We're going to go to Levelland, where we're all level-headed. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't work. But we got Lungs of Dust in the house. Someone we haven't, don't get to see, hasn't seen as much recently from. So it's always good when she makes it to the stream. What's going on? Hey.
What's up, Richie? Can you hear me okay?
How you doing? Yeah, we're good.
Good. I am doing well, thank you. I know I haven't been on in a while. So I have 3 different things I'm gonna read tonight. 2 are mine. They're both untitled because I apparently just don't know how to come up with titles. Thank you. It's an A for Arlette. All right, so this is my first one. Again, untitled. I feel the gamble of the walk to your holy home. The rocks underneath, how they cut me deep. Every breath, just like every step, still something from me. I'll be lucky to arrive in a casket. I'll be lucky to arrive at all. There's a moon that stares back at me, her glistening honesty hanging high in the cloudless sky. I soak up the rays of it. I must be glowing by now. I see your home, an abandonment if there ever was one, the first ruin I've ever seen. Your door flung open, ready for all to enter. There's a fool a step away, looks a lot like me. The tumbleweeds multiply your step, even right there, right in front of my eyes, like a growing omen. You stand in your shadows, wanting me to confess it all to you, to speak of my sins, to sit opposite of angels and pretend we're one and the same. You want me to take the proper steps towards penance, to sit in your broken down pews, as if that cracked hardwood oak has any answers. Could tonight be the night I say it out loud? Would the moon ever shine for me again? I step into your chapel with my dust-covered shoes and my dust-covered heart. All paths have led me here, to this confessional and right to this very dead end. That's my first one. And my second one is very, very tiny. I was looking through my notes app and I kind of wrote this a while back, but there's a strong wind coming from the east. I wish it would take me with her. We could blow along deserted towns, dancing along the horizon to our whistling tune, rushing towards a sinking sun in the west. How I wish it was that easy to blow with the wind. So there's that one. And my last one, oh man, I had it up. My last one, actually, I was listening to Tupac earlier. Oh my God, my cat is just right there. I was listening to Tupac earlier, and I decided to look up some of his poetry. So this one is called Sometimes I Cry. Sometimes when I'm alone, I cry because I'm on my own. The tears I cry are bitter and warm. They flow with the life, but take no form. I cry because my heart is torn, and I find it difficult to carry on. If I had an ear to confide in, I would cry among my treasured friends. But who do you know that stops that long to help another carry on? The world moves fast, and it would rather pass you by than to stop and see what makes you cry. It's painful and sad, and sometimes I cry, and no one cares about why. So that was by Tupac. And that's all I have. Tupac.
No, all right, that's awesome. Yeah, shout out to your cat.
Yeah,
just loving it there.
Herself. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all good. We love pets on here. Do you want to promote any social media or anything like that? Any upcoming appearances?
No upcoming appearances. I am gonna be in Paso this weekend, but I'm just gonna be there Friday night and Saturday, and then coming back on Sunday. But I'm gonna be there in May as well, so we'll see. I'm gonna go watch the Mars Volta. So, I'll see. Maybe I can stop by somewhere and see you guys.
For sure. Shoot a message. You're always welcome.
Social media. I'm on Instagram. That's only social media I'm on, so you can follow me. It's Lungs of Dust, and that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. As I often say, that is not just it. That was everything. Glad you're here with us. Yes, there is Arena George's. I think that's on Wednesday, right? Or did they change the day? Yeah, Writer's Theater. We do have an open mic on Friday at Craft Rhythm and Brews Brewery in South Central El Paso. We're featuring Liz Tina, singer-songwriter. But come, you guys are all welcome if you guys are in the area. Alrighty then, we are going to stick around in El Paso and welcome someone new to the stream. Let me see. I want to make sure you're still here with us. Yes. Okay, cool. Our next performer and first time here is a TEDx speaker, co-author of international best-selling book, Harmony and Chakras, Volume 2. Or is that a 3? No, 2. And a motivational singer. I gotta see that. I gotta experience that. So let's go ahead and welcome to the stage, Emtree Hollis. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello. Hey.
Hi. Thank you all. This is such a great space. I appreciate it. It's been great to hear everyone expressing themselves, and it's the first open mic that I've been to here since I've been back to El Paso. So super excited and grateful. It's so important for these types of spaces, and so I'm gonna just sing a couple songs that are poems also that I've written, and I'm gonna kind of juxtaposition a little bit. So the first one, I kind of went through a dark night of the soul journey. I don't know if any of y'all ever know what that even means, or if you've ever been there before. They can get pretty dark, man. And so this song I wrote really helped me to make sense of it, and as I was re-emerging and coming out of the other side. So hopefully it's something that can be helpful to either somebody here or somebody that's watching, or something like that, because when you're recovering from drugs and alcohol abuse, expression is everything. It's why a lot of us, I think, even go in that direction. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so powerful. And kudos for having this space for so long. Since 2020, very important. And I'm excited to be here and to share this, because it sounds like people come from all over, right, to this, or everybody's welcome. So I'll definitely share that. So, anyways. This song is called Delight in the Darkness. There's a dark place, simultaneous elating, hindsight, highlight, find the dark liberating, mind you, blind you, when the dark come and find you, your eyes open, powerful solar eclipse blind you. Ooh. And just when there appears to be no end in sight, from the darkness will come delight. Delight, delight, delight. Delight, 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 delight. What appears to be bad business forcing you deep in the abyss is designed to find your weakness that will shine the light on your bliss. Let yourself find yourself to be stuck, then recognize it to be a misery not meant to last, just a part of you left in the past. Ooh. Remember that dark will go where it needs to, not to beat you, but to teach you that this is not just a phase. The darkness works in mysterious ways. Delight, delight. From the darkness will come delight. From the darkness will come delight. And that's Delight in the Darkness, the first one. That's my first one. And then I have one more. And this one's kind of the other side of it. It's called Color of Love, because it's kind of like, you know, when you're in love, you're feeling the colors. You know what I mean? So I thought I would move us out of the dark into the light vibes, the high vibrations. Okay, so, okay. There's never nothing new under the sun, so they say. Before I met you, thought my love was done. Then one day, chance would have it, we happened to meet. Try to call myself being discreet. You just wouldn't let me run away. 5, 6, 7 encounters with you has me counting the second, minutes, days till something new. Cause every time you talk, it's like a sun ray. You got me feeling some type of way. Heart is purple from melting blue. Oh, I can't wait to see the color of your love. Can't wait for you to meet the color of my love. The color of my love. And you and I together be the color of our love. High above the clouds whenever I'm with you. Heartbeat pounding, vibrate astounding. I was drowning in a pool of ember. Now we making red flames, something to remember. Shiny and new like fresh snow in December, dude. Just when I thought summer was through, you came, dude. With your rude voice way, with the way you spit, the things you say melt to me like sun rays. Counting down the days, counting down the minutes, right down to the sex. The second hand, giving you a second glance, hoping for a second chance to have a many-minute romance. Green like the cash, money like the minutes. Back it up with gold every time that we spinning it. I'm vibrating on the wave of your hue. Heart turning purple cause I'm melting blue. Said I can't wait to see the color of your love. Ooh, can't wait for you to see the color of my love, the color of my love. Then you and I together be the color of our love. Thank you. Those are my 2 songs. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. So you signed up under M. Tree Hollis, but you up above your head there, you have Michelle there. What is that? Is that Instagram?
Michelle M. Trey Hollis on TikTok, LinkedIn, and on Instagram. So you can find me with that.
Yeah. Awesome. And you're in El Paso?
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, we got to get you out to some live shows and get some bands around you and stuff. We got the connections for that.
Hey,
all right.
I'm with it, man. I'm always time to make music. Thank you all so much. Excited to be connected in.
One of us.
There you go. One of us. Something we chant often. One of us. That means you are welcome back anytime. Come through. One of us. And we'd love to see you at the live show too.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Word. Thank you so much. Bless up.
Oh, all right. Those were great vibes. Oh man, I heard it. Is there an album? There's got to be an album out. Like that was like.
Actually, you can look. You can also find me on SoundCloud at Michelle M. Trey Hollis too. So I have some of my songs on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you can share a link and I'll forward that. Cool. Man. Also, I like to record people, by the way. So, all right, we got, Tez is making his way into the room. Awesome. While we let him into the room, we're going to stick around in El Paso. Wow. very Paso heavy show. I mean, that is where we are based out of. But we're going to welcome back Mr. Monday Night, who always is rocking the mic. Let's go ahead and welcome Kit Rand to the stage. What's up, Kit? How you doing, man?
Play spotlight. There we are. Hello, Richie. Hello, all of you. All right. Hell of a night. Gonna try and keep it going. One from me, slightly long, very political, really rusty, sort of a weird, very far from done. Not even new shit. This is still like the raggedy draft. This is not even the rough draft, but it'll get better through this reading. Here's a free statistic for you to win any argument with your drunk uncle the next time the law comes up. Crime in El Paso actually went up in 2005 after the first bits of fencing were put up by the Bush administration and the rules about IDs were tightened at our checkpoints. My pet theory has always been that without Juarez as party destination, the white kids at the West Side had to resort to drinking and being disorderly here and fist fighting their stepdad on the lawn. What the red hats of Topeka and Des Moines see as desperate defense is really just obnoxious bureaucracy for the people who actually live here. An eyesore, another set of lights jostling for attention with the stars. In Sunland Park, the crowd-funded barrier that someone went to jail over is actually about 800 yards from the border and cuts off access to a public park. So in their patriotic fervor, these people have ceded territory to a foreign government, something they're certain I intend to do. The land is ours. It's all of ours. We asked for help, and Greg Abbott sent cops. Greg Abbott sent soldiers to stake out the churches that welcomed the stranger. Even the state troopers know this is bullshit, so they just sit on Donovan and wait for speeders. Gotta stay busy somehow. There is a huge effort to protect us. It's never explained from what. Without the specter of endless war, there is no longer any funnel through which to turn aggression into imperial treasure. So we imagine some kind of uprising. The dispossessed storming to take it all back. To take what back? What do we have that children could take? We're so smug, even about our faults. We don't even recognize Mexico as a fellow sinner, a fellow settler state that also bullies its neighbors to the south. They take to the streets to protest their femicides. We've made ours into a booming podcast industry. And the people who fled the Sandinistas and the people who fled Castro try to pull the ladder up behind them and join a political movement that can't tell the difference between Ortega and Somoza. What are they protecting? From who? Diaz wrote on his slow boat to France, pity poor Mexico, so close to the United States, so far from God. It takes so much effort to be this cruel. It took so much time to develop this system, to entrench it, and come up with counterintuitive systems of enticement. It takes buzzing, loud, sustained efforts to induce this constant state of insecurity that demands an armed border patrol, that militarizes a police force, and that doesn't ask any follow-up questions when it resents being asked to solve something. The kind thing is always the easier thing. Look at how many things have to be aligned and in total concert to make you forget that. Look at this city that remembers. Still green around the gills, but there's something there. We'll see. Whatever. Well, not whatever, because that was very important, but you know, I have to keep modest. I'm gonna skip right to the cover poem now. International Women's Month. I'm going to the poet Diane de Prima, who socially knew the beats, but is better than all of them. Was once at a party at San Francisco, but she had to leave early because she had an infant. And Jack Kerouac told her, "You can't be a poet and a mother at the same time." And Diane de Prima said, "Fuck you." And this is Revolutionary Letter number 2 by Diane de Prima. The value of an individual life, a credo they taught us to instill fear and inaction. You only live once. A fog on our eyes. We are endless as the sea, not separate. We die 1,000,000 times a day. We are born 1,000,000 times. Each breath, life and death. Get up. Put on your shoes. Get started. Someone will finish. Tribe, an organism, one flesh, breathing joy as the stars breathe destiny down on us. Get going. Join hands. See to business. Thousands of suns will see to it when you fall. You will grow 1,000 times in the bellies of your sisters.
Excellent, kid. That was awesome. Go ahead and if you find your tote and your sheet there, yeah.
I'm prepared this week. Instagram at Kit Ren Away, Twitter at Kit Talk Sports, Ko-fi.com/Kit Ren. I care about weird things. These are essays about the history of American football. Find me on Facebook, easy enough. You can send me an email for serious inquiries or silly, non-serious inquiries. Just if you heard a good joke, send it to that email. If you want to drop something in the tip jar, that email is connected to PayPal. And I am the director and coordinator of the Tumbleworks Project. We meet every Saturday, 1 to 3 Mountain Time. This Saturday, our presenter will be Brian Franco with a workshop piece entitled Consequential Words. He always brings a crew with him, so get there early because it's gonna be hell on wheels. There's gonna be 30, 40 people probably. Some of whom won't get it. After that, on April 1st, I'm gonna take back the talking stick and do a nice little thing about Billy Collins, the clown prince of poetry. Seems fitting for April Fools. April 8th will be Robin Schofield. Side note, Robin is my mom. Fuck you, Jack Kerouac. And the 15th will be our friend from the swamps of Jersey, Nick Paleologos. He's entitled his Beware the Ides of April. April 22nd, Ray Ramos, local legend, to promote his Cryptidinal comic book. And then April 29th, your friend and mine, the hardest working man on the border, Richie Marrufo. And that's our schedule for the next few Saturdays. I hope to see you then. I hope to see you. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. You decide. I'm not good with decisions. All right, take it back, Richie.
All right, awesome, kid. I love the segues, man. Even if it's just like, fuck it, let's move on. Yes, check out Tumblewords if you guys want to do some writing. Always great, generative writing. Man, I was actually gonna make it a Saturday, but I had some family stuff to come up that I could not make it. But Carlos Espinosa, that one looked awesome as well. Let's go ahead and continue. Looking at the list. Yo, we're gonna stop in the Bronx. And we have Ron Mark Thompson in the house, still up. I guess another bout of insomnia, perhaps. But he's got a short piece he wants to share. But it's always great when Ron Mark Thompson stops through. What's going on, man? Hey, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm up doing work at my computer. I'm like, what? And I may as well, go to the open mic. There's no excuse for me. I do hate to follow Kid though, because my poetry is not as profound and my stories. And I did ask Dan the man, would you mind if I go last? But then no, it was like, Ron, I'm the one who's going last, so I had to stay in the spot. So I tried, but I'm just kidding. I'm actually glad I'm not going last. So I wish I could sing as beautifully as Michelle on Oksana. Unfortunately, God didn't give me a singing voice. I want to shout out Finn Bell. She has all these amazing workshops coming up. I totally forgot about that new one that she has tomorrow. So Finn, thanks again for your promotions. I'm going to see if I can squeeze that one in. I have to see what time it is, but you are just amazing. You are such a wealth of different programs and offerings that you give. So thank you so much. And of course, thank you, Richie and Kit, for doing this wonderful BWOMS. And a reminder for everyone, if you're in the New York City metro area on the last weekend in July 29th and 30th this year, 2023, is the New York City Poetry Festival. And we have poetry organizations from all over the United States and the world coming. I know Propaganda Poet is going to come, Gustav Salas. So whoever can make it, come on over and we can see each other in person. In the meantime, so I didn't write something new for today, so I'm going to read a cover poem. This is from Deadpan Lizzie, who many of us know, her latest book, Inner Visions, her real name, Elizabeth Sophia Strauss. This is where you can get it on Amazon. I'm holding it up right here. Beautiful book. This is like her second or third poetry book. She's written other books as well. She's just amazing. I'm going to read from page 88, A New Mantra, from Deadpan Lizzie, aka Elizabeth Sophia Strauss. Carrying love alone through the desolation, almost a year of holding in our emotions, some still holding in their emotions tightly, others word vomiting constantly over us all. Trudging through the cold, metaphorical fields, as we try our hardest to hunker down in these bungers until we can no longer only receiving love, light, and peace from a screen, unable to touch. For many, human touch is the most calming and nourishing feeling. Linking pinky fingers with another can send those tingling vibes through every inch of our bodies. But when desolation hits, the human connection and touch can feel like blisters, uncomfortable and raw, not sexy, almost like a giant callus covering our hearts. Thinking outside the Zoom box, looking past the screen. Connect without intimidation, experiencing sensuality like never before. Another form of Tantra, letting our minds come into play as much as our bodies practice. The willingness to step out of our comfort zones in order to unite those parts of ourselves, a new mantra. And that was the poem, A New Mantra, February 6, 2021, according to what it says here, by Elizabeth Sophia Strauss from Inner Visions. And yeah, I just love those lines, because many of us, including myself, have to step out of our comfort zones. And I'm glad I did, because 3 years ago, I would have not been online with open mics. So thank you, Richie and Kit, for providing such a safe space for us where we can either read our own poems and stories or cover others. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Rock. Mark Thompson, RMT, it's the place to be. Thank you, man. And for staying up. I know it's late, Mike, too,
Well, I love what you said, the late night show. It's like, why not?
Late night show, yeah. If you're up, you're up. If not, you can catch the replay on YouTube. Again, shout out to everyone watching on YouTube right now. This is the online mic. If you're watching live, that's That's great. We love having you here. For watching the replay, that's also great. If you are an EPCC student watching Fresh Credit, shoot me a message. You can find me on the EPCC directory. If you're one of my students, you already have my email, or you can message me Deadwall Reveries for that QR code if you need that. Let's go ahead and continue. We got some poesía from San Francisco. Next up, we've got Tanish in the house. Hey, what's up, Tanish? Good to see you again. And you got to make it on the show this time. Tanish has been sharing poems in the after party, but today we get the live stream. So, hey, good to have you here.
Thanks. It's good to be here. So I guess I just, the last couple, sorry. Yeah, so stacks of 20s plummet from the leaning tower, shadowing the sidewalks. They fall from the top floors, disappearing above the fog. So high it looks like brick and hits like green bullets, aiming straight down at us who dare to catch it, exploding into envy of iris, raining from the suits too high to see. We've all caught the bugs that crawl on green paper, alive in division. But who does simple math anymore? Who does it well? Who avoids doing equations in the void of the divide? It's how they want it. Blind, clawing at dead trees, but the living leaves, they kiss the air clean. Can you hear them whisper in the wrestling? A wordless breath of beating bark, the branches clap with every emotion we feel. Toward freedom, we form a growing cascade of unconditional color. Did you hear the rabbit last night? It was chomping a leaf on the lamppost on the corner. I looked up to its shadow stamped against the pregnant moon. It said, "Tomorrow is the beginning of the womb." And you form the skeleton with as much thought for food, stuff it full, give it innards and fascia, give it skin, blood, wine, and watch it weave into water what it's supposed to become for the masses. I find a feeling in the white floss I used to sew. My fingers graze the thread. I shut my eyes and trace the end of the 6 strings entwined and take them in my tongue, swallow after swallow into my esophagus. The trail leads me to the dining room of my childhood, stuffed full with toys, tables, a table and toys and china cabinet. My nanny and mom sewing green floral fabric into frocks. I heave up the white lace collar and begin to sew, binding the blood of generations with every prick of the needle into finger and fabric. Poem 4. Stampeding whites of eyes siphon my energy through the skin, these famished glares, with pennies for pockets, pennies for stilts, copper tingling, shining pretty like in the sunlight, moonlight, disintegrating dreams, desecrating desire that grow like cacti in the desert. We flourish in urban, arid air, We squeeze out water from our petals. Skin, red, yellow, brown, drips into the puckered lips of goldfish in the blue oasis of our tubs and showers. And I have a few more. Cool. I cut 2 squares in diagonal halves, 2 bigger than their counterparts. Then parallel slits one side of each half, adding perpendicular slits to those. With my 2 hands, I bend the makeshift checkerboard, fold it along the slices this way, that way. I roll it forwards, backwards, over and over like dough. I manipulate the corrugation, but it tells me where it can go, what it can do. The material always lets you know what positions, what shapes are comfortable enough to hold with glue, press sides together into cones, into legs and knees and strawberries, into a strawberry heart, beating alive with every brush of blood red, purple seeds, green leaves, residue of dew appears to form. They taste like teamwork and replenish my thirst. 2 more? Okay, cool. Yeah. Half of poetry is teaching others your language for the world, painting the page with letters that step into a Bhangra dance. All the girls in our colorful sequin langas asking each other at Diwali functions if we're going to dance to break the ice we didn't dare break in daylight at Gurdwara. No, I don't know. Maybe if the aunties pull me in. The aunties never tired of pulling us into what we secretly wanted to do. If they did, it didn't stop them from trying. Eyes meeting aunties' outreached hands, turning them down, those hands were all we needed, I needed. To feel like I belonged, the thumb I am, sore from gripping this pen. And the last one. I've written out the layers of my consciousness, pages like leaves of lettuce, like some kind of vegetable still rooted. In Chilean Spanish, at least, there are 2 words where English only one, to name a vegetable in the ground versus on a plate. Vegetal versus verdura. Fish still swimming versus one cooked. Pez versus pescado. That last one belongs to all Spanish dialects that I know. But English also has this. From when the French Normans invaded England, forcing French names for food served to French aristocrats, leaving English for the animals the English peasants killed in the English fields. Beef versus cow, pork or pig, mutton of sheep, veal from calf, culinary colonialism that creeped into words, word parts, grammar. I can't help but wonder if the several centuries of enduring invasion, colonization, linguistic hierarchy, from the Norse, the Vikings, the Normans, made the English people so ruthless in conquest, ravaging countries, jewel and gem stealing from Hindu deities, taking our teas. After some centuries of events through the magic of the constellations, I'm here like some kind of vegetable still in the ground on unceded land. The end. Thank you.
I love that. I love that ending. Tanish, you have your own website, right? Where is that where people can find you online?
Yeah, it's tanishkantos.com. Sort of a play on song and also canto, like the poem, poet thing.
I dig it, and I like your explorations of culture through language, through linguistics. That's pretty cool stuff. Appreciate the poems. Thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, tanishkantos.com. Go check it out. Yes. All right. We got a couple more performers, guys. Bear with us. That's San Francisco. Now we're gonna go to Washington, DC, where our next performer writes in his bio, yeah, you know me. And if you know him, you down with Eddie P. You down with Eddie P? Yeah, you know me. Let's go ahead and welcome Ed Potastic into the house. He's got some jokes and poems for us today. What's up, Ed?
What's up, my bro? Like no other with words like thunder. Woo! Thank you for making our Mondays more happy and sunnier. Woo! Miss this man. He's always on demand with his unique, wonderful. I'm sorry, I can't write with. Hello, my name is Ed Potato. I'm feeling fantastic. Please get in time to the Joan Ryan for Awful Sublime. I got 7 jokes and 3 poems, so you know the rhyme. The first joke is, what was the polar bear's agent name? Secret Agent Snowden. What was the electric eel's favorite dance? The electric slide. Why couldn't the turkey eat all his food? He was too stuffed. What was the rabbit's favorite song? Jump, jump, jump around. And what do you call a fish who loves gold? A goldfish. What did the bee say about his boss? He's one big stinger. And last but not least, why did the horse propose to the other horse? He was so stable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, my first joke is, my first poem is A Day in Paris. Home reaches the stars, the skies below, the land of Mona Lisa and artistic affairs. Ah, Paris, a blissful and happy show. The city soothes away all your cares. Woke up, bathing in flickering lights, under a radiant and warm sun. Listen to accordion, feels so right. Oh, look at that, I need to run. I shed my stinky nightly layers, going to dip in Lake Anissi's embrace, covered by sweet misty flavors. Ah, shower, a nice sparkling grace. Got new layers, now I can go. Oh, my stomach, uproaring bellows. I need something so it won't explode. Usually it's a mute and silent fellow. Do you sniff that wonderful smell? It has a buttery, elegant aroma. I knew it, ringing louder than a bell. It's putting me into a food coma. A French baguette taunting me. I smell at the local bakery, letting my 5 senses free to the wonderful breakfast tapestry. Went next door, quicker than a hawk, feeling the buttery crunch in my mouth. Adieu, my hungry, grumpy, stumpy rock. So long to hungry pains and frog mouth. Oh, my, the time. I'm super late. I'm late for the colorful art. I hope they'll give me a clean slate. I'm an art critic, not too sweet or too tart. I'm here, a display of artistic talents, new historical masterpieces. It's a huge, magnificent, golly scent, the magnifique of colorful ideas. Before I knew it, I'm done. off to Paris's vast concrete tower. The height makes you happy but stunned, while you marvel at Paris's gigantic powers. I'm a tiny bug seeing the flashlights up on high. Feels like I can touch the sky. The dancing lights, a magnificent sight. Watching the fireflies waving goodbye. Gotten home, pop some Asian brew, red wine, drinking to a toast. No matter if I'm black, red, or blue, Paris luminous affair, the love I desire the most. Thank you. All right, this next one is Long Night. The lights are fading, but the stars are dancing high. The shadows came out to play, the twinkle coming from our eyes. The quiet hugs our ears, silent thicker than a knife. The shadows are near, another chime in the nightlife. The couple of strangers yawning for slumber, rubbing their sandy doors, bodies slowly moving like lumber, minds quietly yearning for the bed to restore. The nightly migration has begun. The concrete roads packed full of flashing lights and sounds. The beams were brighter than the sun, the ride of the mindless merry-go-round. The tiny bugs singing miniature notes, fireflies flashing their radiant glow. The small yet whimsical thunderbolts flying high, nice and slow. The blanket of chilling yet human air. The smoky fog is everywhere. The sun is sleeping, I'm fully aware. The warming spiral has no warmth to spare or share. The vivid towers has signs of close, the darkness flooding the rooms and halls, the places to eat, I suppose, while the flames remain froze, many different shadowy silhouettes dancing on the walls. Walking with me, myself and I, is the ghostly mind behind me. I see you in the corners of my eye, you copycat who flows fluently as the sea. My night commute has reached an end. I jiggle my wand to open my iron gate. Time to clean and hug my soft, fluffy friends. Turn off my lights. Let me dream for goodness sake. Thank you. I got one more for encore. This is called Iron Rocket. The early birds flying in the colorful sea. Up early. What happened to my coffee? My chocolate decaf of anti-misery. Where my expensive liquid toffee? I'm daydreaming of an exotic commercial. My eyes were glued to the bowl of cereal. The headaches of the global transversal. Look at me, the stuffy, cranky, and joyful turtle. A piece of paper danced around my pocket. My electric muses singing in my ear. I'm waiting for my speedy rocket to trip far away from boredom and fears. My fingers dance around my jacket, my body with his annoying habit. My legs jump higher than a grasshopper or rabbit. I'm mumbling, is this it? Is this it? Or this it? I finally found my golden ticket. I was almost at my limit. My rocket's coming in 15 minutes. The feeling of paying for something, but never visit. Here it comes. The smoky rocket coming for a landing. My footsteps are slowly advancing. The rocket's panting while the door started branching. The rocket looked modern and enchanting. I gave my paper in the ticket collector's hand. I felt I was about to burst, but he understand. My trip to the bathroom wasn't planned. You gotta go if you gotta go. Everyone can understand. Yay! You don't want to hear the details. I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't want to hear my details. You don't want to. We're all males and females. Let's just say I prevail on my trail. Let's just say I calm my angry wail. The floor started moving. The rocket started sinking. I started grinning, thinking, and sitting. I started thinking what I was missing. The idea started swimming and swimming. Oh, my luggage! Wait, they're on top of my head. If I forget, I will be dead. My body felt like lumber or lead. I ordered a meal of beef noodles with beer. It left me in joyful tears. My My fingers were wrestling with a silver spear. I yawn, the drowsiness is near. Ask for fluffy marshmallows to help me dream. Ask for a blindfold to emerge in the stream. Ask for earplugs for the sounds, toots, and screams. All right, time to sleep in the supreme. I woke into a quiet sight. I left the rock at midnight. I waved and saw my Uber lights. I'm racing off to a hotel for another sleeping site. Thank you.
All right, Ed, that was Iron Rocket. Good set, man. Loved them. What do you got going on? How can people find and follow you online?
Well, you can follow me while coming or watching this wonderful old mic that makes our Monday night such a delight in the wonderful Potetic Spotlight. All right, woo! But if you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook is Eddie Foreman, and my IG is Eddie Foreman 92. And remember, if the mic's right, I'll be there to shine Potetic insight. If you send me a question, the answer is yes. Hope everyone stays safe, healthy, and blessed. And never stop spewing or singing the wonderful words outside your chest. And never stop feeling and doing your best.
Excellent. Thank you, Ed. As always, much appreciated. Let me go ahead and switch back here. Yes, Eddie P. Go check him out. Following through. Yeah, man, the jokes always get me, man. I'm always curious if you're going to go with those. But let's go ahead and continue. We have a couple more performers up tonight, starting off. And again, the beauty of doing these on Zoom is we can go from Washington, D.C., to Las Vegas, where our next performer is here. We missed him last week when he signed up, or the last time he signed up, but you made it tonight, so I'm happy about that. We got the poet Raja in the house out in Las Vegas. What's going on, man? Welcome back to the show. Happy Monday.
Thank you. It's great to be back. When I tell you the last couple weeks with work have done a number. I mean, man. Like I signed up last Monday and I meant to be here, and then like I was just like, nah. Like I just needed to just like chill and just like sit in a room by myself. And as Kit, I think may have indicated, I did shave my beard. So this is the most of my face I think you'll ever see for quite a while. I didn't mind doing it, but I mean, the beard is growing back. And so, I mean, so yeah. We got a few new pieces. Also, Kit, I genuinely meant to show up on Saturday, but between the time difference and the fact that I woke up at like 1:30 p.m., it just did not happen. But I now know that I need to be awake at like noon my time to be there on Saturday. So, really shooting for this Saturday. So I haven't forgotten about the Saturday thing. I just woke up at 1:30 and I was like, oh no. And then I was like, there's a time difference too. But yeah, so I do not know when my feet left the path, but I have arrived at a place I do not know. Here, there is a weight to the air that fills my lungs. That fills my lungs and slows my pace. I can hear what should be a whimper, yet I am unable to find the source. There is a canopy of gray across this land that calls to me in a way that I cannot ignore. The shadows here seek to claim me and bury themselves deep within my bones. The evil that was trapped in this place has a new house to haunt and consume. See me and know that I have been lost to the demons born in a cursed land. I can feel their insatiable hunger for decay taking root in my chest and becoming my own. Their venom has poisoned my heart to turn black and has left it unable to tell friend from foe. I have heeded their alluring words and have become their agent of chaos. What was once a debate over differing ideals, I have allowed to become an unending war. The cost of allowing my ego to lead my feet astray is the ruin these specters brought to our home. That's the first one. There are times when you are forced to act, when leaving unpleasantness to others is not enough. I fear one of those moments has found me and threatens to undo me if I merely stand by. My friend, I pray that one day you understand, or at the very least you can find peace. But this path you have set us on is certain to fail and promises to tear at the foundation of your greatness. At what point did you stop taking counsel and decide on your own that this was the only way? Surely there is someone who still has your ear and is willing to tell you your quest for power is flawed. Dear friend, I am concerned that you are unaware of how those around you have begun to scheme, that how men who make decisions for this nation now skulk about in the shadows to gossip and plot. My hands are now stained and the deed done. I am left to wear the number 17 for eternity. What I did to save the empire you loved, even if it meant becoming your executioner. And that, of course, is a poem written from the perspective of Brutus after murdering Julius Caesar. Because last Wednesday was the Ides of March, and I do celebrate that holiday yearly. It is by far one of the more bizarre holidays, I think, that is on our calendar. We just acknowledge that this man was stabbed 17 times by friends and possibly lovers. And we just acknowledge that on a yearly basis. So then I'm going to read one final one. And I've read this one here before, but I've finished it since then. So now you'll get to hear the complete version. I sit at the table of Skanda at a feast for his truest followers. That is what I have become as a result of this war between us. My hands so stained with blood that I fear they will forever be unclean. My dreams so terrorized by those I have killed that I am unwilling to go to sleep. My spirit so driven by destruction that even my army lusts to cause ruin. I took up arms against you because you meant me harm. I raised my weapon at you in defense of the one pointed at me. Excuse me. I met you on the field of battle when the offer of peace was rejected, but the violence of war has seized my heart and the smell of death has intoxicated me. Now my righteousness has turned to fury as I have chosen to be the aggressor. Merely driving you out is no longer enough. Vengeance will be mine and I will be satisfied. The desire for retribution has consumed me as I have truly become a man of war. I will raise this place to the ground that you will find no respite. I will take your armies from you and leave you without an ally. I will remove you from this land that this war will finally end. My blade will seek out your throat from across the battlefield. My hands desire to become the executioner to ensure you meet the fate you deserve. My heart grows cold at your pleas for mercy, for the time for such things has long passed. The fervor with which I desire to shed your blood has earned me the seat at the table of Skanda. To him I will pledge my sword and myself, if it means I may finally know a world without you. So thank you very much for having me. I'm so sorry I'm so late, but appreciate you still sliding me into the list, Richie.
Yeah, man, no problem. And as far as the ways people can connect, that's your Instagram handle there?
Yeah. The poet _Raja on Instagram and Twitter. Slowly starting to get back into doing that, posting regularly and updating and things like that. So yeah, I'd love for folks to follow me. I love to find new poets that are following me and then follow them back. So yeah,
it's always fun, man. Well, cool, glad you can make it. Poet Raja, everyone, if you haven't already, go follow him. Instagram, Twitter. All right, we're gonna go and keep going, guys. We have got 2 more people signed up as far as today's stream goes, so let's see where it goes. We're gonna go ahead and go from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, where we've got Tesosomok in the house. He said he's gonna share some poetry only today. Well, alrighty then. Let's welcome back to the stage, Tez.
All right, folks, thank you. Folks can follow me on Instagram under Gashes2019. Pick up my book on Amazon, I'm Not Your Chihuahua. I have 2 pieces. The first one is titled The Colonial Anthropocene and the Simulacra of Modernity. Charles Blow, the television commentator and opinion columnist, has often opined on reparations for the descendants of slavery in America, clearly stating, quote, "It is America's responsibility to undo the trauma it has inflicted upon Black people for hundreds of years. Reparations, reasonable and right. Behold, the colonial Anthropocene reigns a ruthless epic forged in violence and pain, a simulacra of modernity's chains inscribed deep in the fabric of our remains. For centuries, Black people bore the weight of slavery's yoke, and its legacy grim, their bodies and souls a commodity, a freight, their worth reduced to property's whim. Yet, in the face of this abject horror, the Black spirit rises, unbroken and strong, demanding justice and a new order, reparations, long overdue and not wrong. But hear this, America, and hear it well. Reparations are reasonable, right, and we shall not be quelled. When the descendants of those who gorged themselves on the chained chattel, it is always a resounding no. One such descendant, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, worth some $35 million, never worked a proletariat job, nothing more than a parasitic politician who has accumulated power to speak in the name of, quote, I don't think reparations for something that happened 150 years ago, for whom none of us are responsible, is a good idea. We tried to deal with our original sin of slavery by fighting a civil war, by passing landmark civil rights legislation. We've elected an African-American president, but no one currently alive was responsible for that. Obviously not referring to Barack Obama. Two great-grandfathers, James McConnell and Richard Daley, owned a total of at least 14 slaves in Limestone County, Alabama. All but two of them female, according to the county slave schedules in the 1850s and 1860s census. Charles Blow, everything McConnell said was fundamentally wrong, factually and morally. Reparations, not just for chattel slavery, but for the century of oppression and pain, Black codes, Jim Crow, and the terror and plenty, all borne by a people inhumanely slain. Emancipation was never truly whole, for the Constitution deemed them 3/5, and the Supreme Court made it its goal to deny citizenship of people's rights. Convict leasing and slavery by any other name, a backdoor left open to continue the shame. While whites from Europe received someone else's land, millions of acres, and opportunity to farm, the Black man was left to lift himself alone, told to bootstrap, while whites were fed from the government's throne. From slavery's end, no 40 acres came, just pestilence and hunger to the slave. American deemed them, their toil was in vain, their worth nil, rights destined for a grave. Dr. King, too, noted this failed state. Poor People's Campaign he aimed to create in Congress. Land was given to them whites, education and loans to excel their plight. But for the freed, there was no such aid, no health, wealth, or learning to support their trade. With no infrastructure, the lives left to decay. Douglas, too, condemned this fall decree. Emancipation, a grand fraud for all to see. Bank and reconstructions failed. Hope vanished in Black Wall Street. Jim Crow then came with legal oppression, and even after its fall and mass incarceration, all this white supremacy suppression. It's time for America to realize how all of these years African Americans have agonized for fair and just treatment have been denied. McConnell, quote, it would be pretty hard to figure out who to compensate. We've had waves of immigrants who come to this country and experience dramatic discrimination of one kind or another. So, no, I don't think reparations are a good idea, unquote. That's that piece. I move to this next one. This is titled The Con of Conservatism, Part 2. There was a Part 1. I don't know if I read it here, but I didn't get enough, so I went for seconds. The con of conservatism is that it is more a disposition and attitude than a fully fledged philosophical doctrine. The con of conservatism is that it's the application of abstract values applied to preservation of constitutions, political institutions, statutory rights, and social values. The con of conservatism is that there is no teleological goals, no meta universal theories, eternal truth, but rather piecemeal pragmatism of if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Here meaning if it works for us, we don't really care about you. The con of conservatism is that it has no backbone, it is self-serving, it has abandoned classical inalienable rights, it is Marxist in its distribution of wealth, usually for themselves. The con of conservatism is that it's an abandonment of Aristotle's distributive justice. Quote, equals should be treated equally and unequals unequally, but rather all must be reduced to monetarist economic policy with low business and tax regulation and minimal welfare expenditures, the dismal science of extracting off the back of the masses. The con of conservatism is that it has abandoned the doctrine of liberalism with its essentialist separation of the branches of government, feigned separation of church and state, and open, free, but not open, free voter registration, and fair elections, but unfair access to polling booths. Finally, jettisoning the republic as a political philosophy, but it was never the republic of Plato or Cicero. The con of conservatism is it's no longer the Yankee Doodle Dandy or the Dixieland written on a cold, rainy March morning in New York, 1859, written for the blackface minstrel shows later in 1861, adopted in the South as the anthem of the Confederate States. The con of conservatism is that it's been playing the same old blackface minstrel song and dance since they played Dixieland at the inauguration of Jefferson Davis as president of the Confederacy. The con of conservatism is that paradoxically and erroneously, these principles are attached to the Declaration of Independence via the Federalist Papers, while their utility is merely doubling down on the lack of evolutionary utility. The con of conservatism is that while it bolsters pragmatism and adaptability, it has paradoxically abandoned its and become unmalleable, stuck in the past, using self-serving dogma to justify contradicting their if it ain't broken, don't fix it, to even if it is broken, don't fix it, because that would be un-American. Thanks.
All right. Hey, thank you. Tesosomo, can you start off with your socials? Gashes 2019. Anything, am I missing any features coming up or anything you want to promote?
No, right now I have to recover. I'm laying off my shoulder rotator cuff, see if I can recover and get back to some more of the music. But no, I'm just writing like crazy.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely writing like crazy. Yeah, man, you've been showing it, getting a lot of publications in as well. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna make it through. I saw the list and it was like, oh, you didn't sign up, but you came through and right there towards the end of the night as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't. I've been having some breathing problems with this cold went into my lungs. I've been trying to spit it out, but I think I
yeah,
made it through.
good, good. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a theme the last couple of formers. Yo, if you guys got to take care of yourselves, do that, got to sleep, rest. There's no obligation to make it through to this. And we're here every week, so whenever you guys are ready for that. Um, Sandy made it to the chat. She's been saying some nice things for you guys as well. So I want to give a shout out to Sandy Lands on YouTube. Um, yeah, she's always here as well, supporting. And we're going to go ahead and come back to El Paso to finish out the night, as we often do, coming to you from the 915 with his crazy, magical, mystical microphone. I don't know what that means, but let's go ahead and bring up Dan the Man to the stage. Dan, what's up? Check. 1, 2. Dan.
Yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Yep. All right, so, well, since today is the first day of spring, hold on. First, I apologize to Ron. Sorry. I think I may have misheard him. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Ron. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, since today is the first day of spring, be careful with the bee because it could be a sting. Oh, speaking of sting, whose sting is it? The iconic Grammy-winning singer-songwriter, lead singer Police, or the legendary wrestler, the legendary icon wrestler you've seen him from WCW, and yeah, you know what I mean. The Sting, the singer, or Sting, the wrestler? Weird. Yeah. Yeah. I did have a picture with Sting. Not the singer, but the wrestler. Yeah. That was like back almost 5 years ago. It was not long before my birthday. Yeah. Yeah, ring a ding. Yeah. It's that time to bring in the spring, bring in the swing, so we could sing along a ding-a-ling-ding-ding, something that's a song. We could something good song with the ding-a-ling and everything. Yeah, right, a spring and that teething ring. Yeah, or we could see a puppet from the string. Yeah. I could play in the swing because, yep, spring is here. Yep. Be careful, avoid a bee sting. Yep. So, yep. Or if you want, or speaking of spring, how about the Offspring? Well, I'm talking about the band. Yeah, why don't you get a job? Yeah. Or a bank to rob, or something like the Knob. Who needs the odd? Yeah, who needs the odd? Or or the horror film, The Blob. Yeah, and just get a job according to Offspring. Yeah, yeah. There's a cob swab. I like to eat the corn and the cob. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I always do. Hold on. Okay. And I always do the words of love, piropos, romantic sayings from Mexico. Well, hang on a minute. I'm gonna wait in 2 weeks for the National Poetry Month, so I can I can finish this. So I can finish this. So yeah. So I'm gonna save it for National Poetry Month in April. Yeah. Speaking of poetry, something I want to cover. Like yeah, there's something I need to. There's something I want to cover. I want to cover. I want to cover. I want to cover Lee's. I want to cover Denise's. I want to cover Khan's. I want to cover Robin's. I want to cover Terry's. I want to cover a few others, and especially, but most importantly, I also want to cover Donna's. Their books of poetries. I want to cover, right? Because ain't no further. But that's funny because I don't have enough money. I still need to save. Yeah. It's something you don't need to behave. Yeah. It's funny. I still need money to save. So I can buy the books. Yep. It's always off the hook. So yeah, National Poetry Month. Okay. Well, we're almost there. So we're about 12 days away. So. Speaking of poetry, I'm still planning on writing so I can do a book. And I know I still have those saved in my files and everything. I'm gonna reorganize everything, and I'll probably might rewrite a bit, but let's wait and see. So, let's wait and see. And according to the Marshall Tucker Band, can't you see? All right, here it is. Read it and weep it. I'm still behind. I'm still behind. I'm still behind on my blogs. Yeah, I'm halfway done on editing from last Friday, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, but most importantly, find Dan Advance Weekly on YouTube. I'm behind posts on Twitter and Facebook, but I'm catching up on Instagram, so we'll keep you guys posted. And I should have the Seeds of My Poetry Slam ASAP. Just hang tight on, guys. Just hang tight. I do apologize for the delay. Oh, what a day. What can I say? Okay, guys. Thank you. Happy spring. Yep. Yeah, I met the wrestler Sting, but not the singer Sting. Yeah. And everybody's sane. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. It's next Monday. All right. Back to you, Richie.
All right. Thank you, Dan, for that freestyle Sting poem and 6 minutes of your future thoughts. Thanks, man. Future plans. It's good to have a plan. So cool, man. Cool. Hey, that concludes tonight's show. Once again, we are the late Mike. I know some of you guys are feeling it. A lot of people have gone off to slumberland, so hopefully you guys do sleep well. Those of you who are who came in red, shout out to everyone who did sign up to read and perform. If you're watching this and you ever want to perform, you are welcome. Just be on the lookout in the description to sign up, and you can follow us at the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series on any social media. Be on the lookout for the link. We have a link tree. We also have on Facebook our events page where all of our events, including the online ones, are posted. Be on the lookout like the Sunday before or even the Monday morning of the show for those links. My name is Rich. If you're in the El Paso area or planning to come through, just look us up, and we'd love to host you. We've got open mics, we've got poetry nights. I also have a studio where I do podcasts and record performers. We will see you guys next Monday. So looking forward to that as always. For the online stream, I'm going to go ahead and say good night. Most of us will be hanging out a little bit afterwards on the Zoom call, as we often do. We call it the after party. And it's just a place to, share stuff, share ideas, talk, or vent. There's a lot of venting, and sometimes we need that too. You know what I'm saying? That's what these are for. So anyway, we'll see you guys for the live